Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to welcome you aboard. We kindly ask that you fasten your seatbelt.
And eat your fucking nuts. This is Confessions on the Fly with
LJ
and Flight Attendant Joe. All right, we are back. Welcome back to Confessions on the Fly. Hey.
Yeah, welcome back.
I love our intro music.
Welcome
It's
back.
fun. That's not
That's
it.
not it.
Now we're sued.
Oh, no. It wasn't even that long.
Cotter's gonna.
We have no money.
Don't sue us.
Don't sue us.
You're
We
literally.
have no money.
You're gonna take my Kamala T-shirt, and that's all I have.
I just
literally.
bought a house. Don't take it away from me, please.
Aw.
I know. Don't take it away from me.
Don't take away your house.
I know.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our show. You are watching or listening to this show on February 27th, 2019, but we are actually in the studio on February 5th filming this. As you can imagine,
You guys know
I don't come to LA every week to film.
I wish he would.
Twice a year is plenty.
No.
So,
he comes down quite often, but
I do.
For a couple episodes at a time, which is really nice.
But the image is that they're new every week. But just like in any television show,
totally gave the whole show away.
We film like 1,000 in a day. So, but today we're filming. She likes to live in a fantasy land, and I like to pop it. Yes,
I do not live in a fantasy.
I'm not
land.
going to call you out on it because I don't want to get the dirty looks when
Wait
the
a
camera
minute.
goes off.
Wait a minute. No,
don't even.
We're going into this.
I'm
you don't
continuing.
think I live in a fantasy world?
I'm continuing.
Meaning how? Oh, we're getting into this.
No.
Yeah, we are.
We're not.
Oh, we are.
You don't want to.
Yeah, I do. Maybe when the camera's off, we're definitely getting into this. What do you mean I live into a fantasy world? Oh, okay. All right. That's how it is.
So today's February 5th, 2019, when we're filming this episode, and it is the day of... I'm laughing because she hates me. I'm trying to make her hate me. I'm trying to make you hate me this season.
Feel the daggers.
I'm just pushing you to your
limit.
breaking point. I want you to call your therapist Kelly every day.
Hey!
So I'm
She just laughs. She thinks it's stand-up.
Kelly and I are actually behind the scenes trying to make her more money.
Right? I think you and Kelly have a side deal.
Yes. Oh my God, if I could just get 10% of that.
I know, right?
But it's February 5th. It's the State of the Union. So I'm wearing my Kamala T-shirt that I just got because I'm supporting her for president. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is not a political podcast. No. This is a comedy flight attendant airline podcast.
And the government shutdown has affected the airline industry quite a bit. So we wanted to kind of talk about that.
You said it. You took the words out of my mouth.
Well, right on
now,
top of that, Rose.
If I could put something in your mouth, if I had a candy, I would. I'm not putting my dick in your mouth, LJ. You filthy slut. So I'm shutting it down. I'm shutting it down on the Shutdown episode.
So gross.
Oh, my dick in your mouth is gross? That is kind of gross. We're like brother and sister.
My brother. He's my big brother.
I mean, I've watched a lot of porn videos.
My
So
God.
back to the shutdown on the shutdown. So originally, I wanted to have a guest star, a guest on the show, an air traffic control employee. Yes. And we talked, is a friend of mine, and we talked back and forth, and he said, I can't be on the show. I'm an FAA employee, and my union doesn't allow this, and, I will be fired before the show airs.
Yeah, we don't want that.
And I don't want somebody to lose their livelihood just to be on our podcast.
Absolutely not.
Well, maybe, but...
Anyone specific?
I know a lot of people that I wouldn't mind having their jobs taken away.
I agree, actually.
Or at least maybe have their followers drop down to like 10. So
and you can do that. You have the information to make that happen.
I could do that right now, but let's not play games, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about the shutdown. So I asked my friend, I said, listen, friend, can I ask you some questions off the record? I won't give your name. I won't say where you live. I won't say anything about you. But I just want to hear you. And I also felt like when I did this, he was completely raw and honest. Like he didn't have to put on a show. He was able to be completely honest. And this is confessions on the fly. So I want you to be honest when you're talking about something as serious as the shutdown.
Yeah. Now, can we just say how long the shutdown was beforehand?
Yes, the shutdown was from December 22nd.
Yes.
It was my second day of my Christmas vacation in Joshua Tree.
How nice
Well,
that you had a full Christmas vacation.
I was on Christmas vacation, but it wasn't nice because people started so the shutdown happened at midnight on like midnight Saturday morning. By 11 a.m. at Joshua Tree National Park, the bathrooms were trashed. 11
That's awful.
fucking hours later,
That's
I
so
went to go to the bathroom and it was trashed by tourists. People who don't live in our country. Oh, wait a minute. This sounds like it's going way in the wrong direction. But people who don't
left. Taking a hard left.
I feel like I should rip my Kamala t-shirt off and burn it. No. But no, people who don't understand that we have national parks.
Yes.
And they don't, people, I'm not going to say where they're from, but China tourists, they don't understand the government shutting down. I don't think their government shuts down. So they don't have a government like ours. A lot of countries that doesn't happen. So they don't understand. We didn't know the government shut down. We didn't know if it went through until we went to the visitor center to get a map and it was locked. That's when we were like, oh, I guess it happened. So that day I was stopped and we went to a bathroom and it was trash and there were people out there and you could tell. And I'm not saying this to be mean, but they were not American. You could just tell. Okay. And they don't understand that our government shut down, and they don't understand that no one's coming to clean the bathrooms. And I've been on an airplane where people do clean the bathrooms, and people are slobs, no matter what part of the world you're from. I bet you if Martians came here, slobs.
Exactly.
So it was so disappointing. And then you just saw weeks and weeks later that people were destroying Joshua trees.
That I thought was so heartbreaking to see.
And even though this episode is about how the shutdown affected the airline industry and ATC and TSA and all these 800,000 people who weren't getting paid, it's not specifically about, bad politician, this politician. It's about people.
Yes.
Okay?
It's about the effect of the shutdown.
Right. But I was so fucking angry at human beings thinking they were like chopping down trees that are like centuries like, wait a minute, the park has been closed for a week and all of a sudden you act like a fucking bunch of animals. I was a lunatic. Like sometimes I want to go out, like I was looking up online, like how can I go help? Can I go shoot people?
Illegal.
I will shoot you if you try to chop down a, like when you go to, have you ever been to Joshua Tree National Park? It's amazing. And
can we go there for our hike?
It's very far. Trip? No. No. I know where I'm going to take you camping.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
I'm so excited.
I want to surprise you. Okay. So like when you go there, these trees are so old and they tell you when you check in, do not touch the trees. Do not put anything on the trees. Just look at the trees. They're centuries years old. It takes forever. It's going to take, I think I read somewhere that it's going to take like 100 or 200 years to recover from a 35-day partial government shutdown. So, so it was from December 22nd to January 25th. Okay. Today is February 5th. Okay. Now, the last time the government was shut down was in 2013, and it was when the current president then shut it down for the Affordable Health Care Act.
The president at the time shut it down for the...
Barack.
Yes.
Actually, I've read both his books. I call him Barry because we're like that.
You guys are friends.
He doesn't know this.
Okay.
So I want to talk to you about, and I want to talk about what my friend had to say regarding this shutdown. And when you were flying, did you see things?
Because
did you
I
get
was
affected?
flying during that whole time. I had a very, very limited holiday break.
I'm sorry. And I'm rubbing in my vacation.
I know.
I'm a dick.
I actually did see a difference. I saw a difference in security. I saw a difference in morale. I saw a difference in the crowds. I mean, granted, again, it was the holiday season, so there is just more massive amounts of people everywhere, but the resources that we had were very limited. And I can see the effect of TSA agents who... they didn't have a full staff. I saw TSA agents who, my airline where I was based, was donating food. There were not like makeshift like cafeterias for them so they can have food and be able to take some food home.
That's amazing.
Which I thought was really, really lovely because again, do people understand that they're not getting paid during that time?
I read someone wrote on Twitter, well, they're going to get paid. It's just not right now.
That's not the case. We don't know. I think they were told that they were going to get a week of back pay.
Oh, I don't even know that.
So if you are going, how many days was it? How many?
Like
3
35,
weeks?
32, 30, something like that.
Okay, so it's over 3 weeks.
Over a month.
Over a month without paycheck. So let's just say you get paid twice a month. How would that affect you? I know me personally, that would affect me and my bank account.
Right.
There are some people who live paycheck to paycheck.
I think most people live paycheck to
paycheck. Most people don't have 6 months back pay salary saved.
Right. And I'm not saying this to be rude, but TSA agents, I'm sure many of them are paycheck to paycheck.
Yes.
It's like flight attendants.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Especially in the beginning.
Absolutely.
I mean, so putting anyone in that position. Now, I understand people give TSA a hard time, like, oh, well, they made me do this, maybe they do that, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. They're doing their job. And yes, they have to screen and make you take off your shoes and empty a water bottle and put your laptop in and your phone and blah, 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 blah. But guess what? They're doing their job. They're trying to keep you safe.
Don't be mad at them.
Don't be mad at that.
Unless they're assholes. Some of them are assholes.
There's assholes everywhere. You know what I mean? There is assholes everywhere.
There's asshole flight attendants.
There's asshole flight attendants
and
asshole pilots. And there's, so I get that. But they're doing their job. Now, imagine you having to go and do your job for over a month and not getting paid for that. And knowing flat out you're not getting paid for that, that's going to be really disheartening and not knowing if you can pay your bills. So I'm just somebody who would put myself in somebody else's shoes and try to show grace and love in that moment. If I can't give you, money or whatever, but at least I can try to offer food or a ride or this or that to,
Well, with the TSA, I feel like TSA and ATC both not getting paid, but different circumstances.
Yes.
Now, so in San Francisco, the airport that I commute in and out of, their TSA agents are not TSA. Did you know that? They're CAS.
I didn't know that.
They're a contracted company.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They were getting paid.
Okay.
All right.
But
when I went there, I talked to one of the TSA agents, because when I was driving to the airport, I was like, I'm going to go to Starbucks, and I'm going to get $50 worth, $5 gift cards up to $50, so 10 gift cards, and I'm going to keep them with me, and I'm just going to hand them to TSA agents as I see them.
Yeah, that's very kind.
But you can't do that.
You can't.
Okay, so imagine somebody sees you going through security and handing a gift card to a TSA agent. Looks like you're bribing them.
Yeah, it does.
So you can't do that.
You can't do that.
I talked to my friend about that because when we were talking, I was like, one of the last questions I asked my ATC friend was, what can we do as people, if the government shuts down again?
Yeah.
What can we do? And he was like, give gift cards. And I said, I was told not to do that, but I think what you can do is give gift cards to a supervisor. So go through security, then go up to the, where the booth is, where the cops usually are and all that. Go up there and say, hey, I got some gift cards. Please hand them out as you see fit. Just give somebody a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
It's the little things you can do. But
can we go through, because I did see a difference in staffing. I did see a difference in morale. And eventually, there were not full airports, but there were groundings of flights, that took place and happened. And I said from day one, that was the first thing I said. The way to end this shutdown is if universally throughout the country, if all airline employees or TSA agents didn't show up and the airline industry couldn't work for even a day, the government would be open.
So
because it's all about money.
It is.
Go
So
ahead.
I talked to.
Sorry,
so I don't know if you know the history, ladies and gentlemen. Back in the 80s, the air traffic controllers went on strike.
Yes,
they all got fired.
And they all got fired.
So you can't go on strike.
I know.
You get fired. And I asked my ATC friend. I'm going to call him ATC. I'm going to call him. What can I call him? ATC.
All right.
So
whatever.
ATC. I said, tell me about that. And he said, I said, can they fire everybody?
Well, if they.
And he said, yes.
Yes.
Because what happens is They fire if you strike, if you call in too much, if you stage a sick call or something to try to make a point.
That's what I was saying. Like, and not everyone's saying not showing up, but if they all like call in sick,
they'll get fired. So if 100 people, it would be considered, just like in the airline industry, it'd be considered not a scheduled, but a call in.
So you would have to prove that you were actually sick.
Probably.
Is that what you think?
Because it's a stage, a call in. What is it? Staged, whatever. And what happens is they would fire everybody who did that. And then air traffic, lots of flights would get canceled.
Yes.
And it would slow down. They'd bring in supervisors. They'd bring in military air traffic controllers. Yeah. So if you think just strike and you will be fired, and they will get people to come in. So it's just one of those things where you are held hostage by the government when they cannot, figure their shit out.
And it's not government employees who are, making hundreds of thousands of dollars.
No, air traffic control, they make a lot of money.
No, I understand that.
TSA don't.
That's what I'm saying, TSA. But I'm saying it's not, and they're saying like, oh, well, they just have to cut back a little or whatever. I was like, they're not making a ton of money to be able to cut back. It's not like the governor or, a congresswoman or whatever who has more money. It's the people who make things run on a daily basis. They're not making millions of dollars.
No.
So for them to cut back and not have that's a big effect. So, okay, sorry, go ahead.
No,
it's fine.
You
have a bunch of questions.
No. I'm
talking
talking about them as we talk about the conversation. Because, when I was talking to ATC, and he told me, the saddest part, and this is about the people, and that's what we're talking about. And he shared a story. He shared two very important stories. One was his son heard him and his spouse talking about, like, okay, what are we going to do this? What are we going to do with this? How's this going to work? His son went in his bedroom and pulled out his saved bank, and he said, Daddy, take this. And it was just like, I don't want my kid, thinking this is stressing about that. And they were like, no, you keep your money, we'll be fine. He shared a story with me about a woman who was out on maternity leave. So she was out, she used up all her maternity time, and she was out for like 2 or 3 months or something. And she came back to work, no paycheck. And you have to come back to work. You have to go to work. You can't just be like I just spit all over the studio. I'm sorry.
Okay. Sorry, Nate.
Sorry. Fantasy world. So it's
you gotta clean that up.
It's like I totally lost track of what I was saying now. Nope, that's okay.
She went back to work.
Oh yeah, so she went back to work and no paycheck, and it's like you have to go to work. You can't just not. It's not like what would you do? Honest to God.
Well, I think I'm freaking out now.
Would you go to work
I just bought a house, so for me, being in that situation, like I would literally get shingles again and lose my hair again because
she brought up shingles.
I do. I get old. I have really bad anxiety. We all know this.
I'm looking into the camera like I'm a deer in the headlights.
I started having panic attacks when I was 12 years old. It's a whole big thing. Yada, yada, yada.
I wish I had a pen. Do I have a pen?
Do you want to call Kelly?
So tell me about these panic attacks.
No. Anyway, I would literally have a panic attack. I don't know what to do because, you're thinking about paying your mortgage. You're thinking about, God forbid, there was also a teacher strike going on at the same time. Could you imagine being a TSA agent and your husband or wife is a teacher?
Well, yeah, you better go live on the street. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So, but my question to you, LJ,
Sorry.
is no, that's fine. You don't listen to me and pay attention. Would you continue to go to work?
You have to, or else you will be fired.
Right. You go to work. Because people, if you notice, if you go on certain people are like, why are you going to work? I'd quit. You wouldn't fucking
quit.
You would go to work thinking this needs to fucking end soon so that I can get a paycheck.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to need to pay my rent.
Yeah.
Because, you go online and you read, Twitter is
a monster.
A monster. Mm-hmm. Like, it's almost like.
I don't like social media in general.
Instagram I like because I like looking at pictures. Facebook I tolerate. Twitter is the fucking devil.
Yeah.
Like the worst of the worst human beings have Twitter accounts.
Well, people hide behind anonymity.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like you can be the nastiest human being, and I always think, would you say that to me?
No.
Awful human. Twitter is like a cancer on society.
Yeah, human garbage.
But I go on it when I need to be angry.
Okay.
Actually, I use my Twitter account literally to troll politicians.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't put any. I have like 32 followers. I don't care.
I don't ever check.
But a lot of things. I read a lot of people saying, "Oh, just quit. Oh, you'll be fine." Oh, and I think first of all, I understand you don't have empathy because most people don't have empathy for things that don't happen to them.
Of course.
Like when I was
Everyone's
talking to
self-involved.
ATC, him and I were talking about this, and he said, people don't understand things unless it happens to them. Oh, we don't need to worry about red lights until your car gets hit.
Of course.
So that frustrates me. It's like, put yourself in their shoes.
Well, that's like healthcare. With universal healthcare and stuff like that. And everyone's like, the government has the best health.
This got political.
No, really.
Yes.
Has the best healthcare, imaginable.
Who does?
Government healthcare.
Where?
Government officials.
Oh, yes,
it's
yes.
Like
I bet
incredible.
Yeah, they sneeze. And they're in the hospital for 10 days. Yeah.
So that's why I find it so insulting when.
That's how Ruth, what's her name? Ruth
Bader.
She's still alive. She's probably got an enema of nutrition stuck up her ass every 5 seconds.
Help us, Ruth. You're our only hope.
Oh my God. Every time she goes in the hospital, I get a zit. You probably break out in shingles.
I always get shingles.
She's like 1,000.
I know.
1,000 years old. I think she remembers when Abraham Lincoln was president. I think they went to college together. She's fucking old. Please don't die, Ruth.
Don't die.
Not yet.
Not yet.
But so my friend ATC, I asked him another question. Do you know a coworker who had it especially bad?
Yeah.
Because I know his situation and he was okay. Him and his spouse were okay. His spouse has a job that wasn't in any danger.
Good.
So it was like we have some savings. We don't have to give our child up for adoption because we can't give them food. It's not North Korea.
Did they have family and friends around to help in those situations too? Like give food or donate food and stuff like that? They didn't need it. Okay.
They're okay.
They're fine.
Yeah. But still, you're not getting a paycheck.
Correct.
Right. So I asked him and he told me a story about that mom who went to work and wasn't getting paid after she just had a baby. And her husband is a stay-at-home dad. So nobody has a job. And it's just like, it's awful. It's just terrible. So, ladies and gentlemen, if the government shuts down again, which it will in history, it will happen again because have some fucking empathy for people. Yeah. Don't be a dick about things. Like, it's not hard to say, wow, that really, don't say like, suck it up. You took the job. Oh my God. I fucking hate that.
That was my biggest thing about walking into working over the holidays. I knew what I was getting myself into because of my.
What?
I know I took the job. I know. I'm well aware of it, but I still deserve to be treated like a human being.
Who are you talking about?
I'm
just talking about
passengers to flight attendants and stuff like that. But that's just a side note. You know what I mean? Like I hate that term. Like suck it up. You took that job.
Oh yeah,
because that
like
just is a trigger in terms of like people say that to us all the time.
Yeah, don't fucking say that.
It doesn't mean you can treat another human being like that. It's disgusting.
No, it's terrible.
Yeah.
But I also asked him, I was curious. So air traffic control, we've talked about TSA and.
Talk about the air traffic controllers.
Well, oh my God, can we talk about the TSA agent who killed himself in Orlando? 36 years old, like the beginning of February, just at the end of January. His name was Robert Henry, 36 years old, clocked out, went up onto the hotel and jumped. Yep. And they're calling it an apparent suicide. And now articles are coming through saying that it was because of depression and because, oh my God, I can't pay my fucking rent. So there's so many different things that come out of this shit. And I know we can't make a difference in it. We can't stop the government from shutting down, but we can be kind to each other and we can be thoughtful and we don't have to be assholes. And I think that's my biggest message. But getting over to ATC, that was so depressing. But I wanted to give my respects to Mr. Robert Henry,
Of course, and his family.
Who decided that was the answer. And suicide is always the worst thing in the world. And ladies and gentlemen, if you ever are contemplating suicide, please seek help. There's somebody there. Somebody will take care of you. Somebody will talk to you. You know, your family loves you and you don't want to jump to your death. Absolutely. But I talked to my friend ATC about what do you guys do up there? He was like, you've never been to the tower? And I'm like,
really?
have you been to the tower? I've never been to the tower.
We should go.
So, yeah, we have to be invited.
Oh, well. Somebody invite us.
Yeah, hello, we're stars, for Christ's sake.
He's got 2 books out.
So, yeah, and she's got like so many books coming out of her tits. I had to lighten it up after that.
Sorry.
Yeah, no. With
That's good.
Yeah, I mean, we went really down.
Really down.
We went down like you did when you were 19. And then we went right back up like I like to do when I think about you going down when you're 19.
So gross.
Wow, you got to do that roller coaster
Yes.
because then it gets so depressing,
No,
and then
no,
I'm
no.
going to start eating pot cookies.
Whoa. Whoa.
No, I don't do that. I do not do that. If you have any pot cookies, no. So I talk a lot about pot cookies.
know.
I'm going to be tackled the next time I go to
You are
work.
so getting drug tested
I
when
don't
you go to
care.
work.
I don't care.
Like every trip you have,
Do you
you're gonna
know
get
I
drug-
pray to get fired because I can't stand being a flight
I'll
attendant.
get drug
anymore.
tested all day long because they pay you every time you get drug
Oh.
tested.
Can you imagine?
You can test my pee any
Just
day.
walk through the jet
Super
bridge
clean.
going, I do crack.
Which one's that? I don't know which one that is.
You live in Los Angeles.
I don't deal with drugs. I don't do drugs. I don't know all the drug stuff. Which one's the crack?
Oh my God, I just had a moment where I got you confused with the girl from The Haunting of Hill House. The sis, did you watch that?
The Haunting of Hill House.
It's on Netflix. It's a show on Netflix.
No.
There's a scene where the sister buys the brother heroin, and I just thought you were her for a minute.
What?
I think I just had a mini stroke because in my mind I was like, you know about drugs? You bought them for your brother. And then I'm like, wait a minute. No, that's a TV show.
It's a TV show.
Joe.
Do I look like the girl on the show? No.
That's all you care about.
I do. I was like, who is this bitch and why is she taking my job?
You're going to look it up.
I am going to look it up
So,
right now. Go ahead, continue.
what was I saying?
I don't remember.
I always lose track.
I know.
Oh, I don't even remember. What were we talking about? Oh, so I asked my friend, like, how many flights are you in charge of?
Oh, yeah.
And I wrote it down. So usually there's about 1,000 flights a day
Okay.
that a certain air traffic control area is responsible for. And there's all different positions inside air traffic control. And
Oh, yeah.
did you know that everything that happens the moment the airplane pulls away from the gate, do you know who I'm talking about
Yeah.
now? I didn't say you looked like her.
I know, that's what I was wondering. I was
just got my
yeah.
real world and my reality world confused.
happens.
And I thought you were buying drugs for your brother in a rainy street somewhere in Los Angeles.
No.
But
Now
it
my
wa-
brother's going to get drug tested.
It was
too.
and your brother is hot what's your brother's name?
Michael.
Hi, Michael.
Hey,
You're
Michael.
hot with a beard and without. And I'm married and I know you're straight, but it doesn't matter. So from the moment that the airplane leaves the jet bridge,
Yeah.
it's controlled by air traffic control.
Yeah.
Did you know that? So they're like, the air traffic control's like, American 721, take a left, take a right, take a left, go 5 feet, take a left, stop.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Well, that's who they're, yes.
Well, I didn't really know all. I
Well,
guess
they
I don't
have
think
to-
about
they
it when I'm
have to
sitting on
take
the
them
jet
to-
bridge.
Oh.
If it
Who
wasn't,
else is telling them where to go?
I know, but
Jesus?
the point. You just lost like 50,000 followers. We don't have 50,000 followers, but if
Well-
we did, we would have lost them.
I have to cover the few.
Do you have to cover
Okay.
the people?
All right.
are
All
you
right.
are you covering the people who think angels are holding up the airplane? Because if they're listening to my show, they need to stop now.
I'm dealing with flat Earth people.
So you don't want people to just stop following us. You want us to be stalked and trolled online and have dead animals come to our
Okay.
front door. So I guess, but when I'm back on my jump seat, I'm not thinking like air traffic control until he told me. I'm like, wow, yeah, you guys,
Yeah.
you're like stopping airplanes from crashing into each other on the ground and
Yes.
then in the fucking air. And
Yes.
there's so many airplanes that are in the sky. And it just made me realize God, I don't want these fucking people to be worried about
A paycheck?
a paycheck. Like, I don't even want them to be in a bad marriage.
Yeah, no.
Because I don't want to be the flight where somebody's like, my wife's fucking my brother. Hey, 512. Hard left.
Make a hard left.
Make a hard left into that mountain.
Oh, my wife's on that flight? And my mistress is on the other flight?
Great. My new PAs are going to be like, ladies and gentlemen, are there any TSA? No, fuck TSA. They can't take down planes. Is there? Well, they could have. Why am I saying this? Ladies and gentlemen, is there any ATC employees, wives in here who are fucking their brothers? You, ma'am, come with me. Next flight, please. So, but it just really made me realize, like, wow, these people are in charge of so much that not paying them seems like reckless. I got that word from you.
You're welcome.
Well, you showed me some text messages you sent to someone the other day, and you used the word reckless. And I just thought, that's a great word. And then I was talking to...
I don't like reckless behavior.
Well, I was just talking to another friend of mine about something, and I told them they were being reckless. Great word. I love that word. Thank you. But so reckless for the safety of our country and the citizens, because people don't think I'm going to get on this airplane, but the person that's controlling it and the air traffic control hasn't been paid for 35 days and probably doesn't have food.
I agree.
And so it all comes back to we can't. I'm sorry, what were you saying? I didn't mean to interrupt.
You said you have my sport.
I get very passionate.
That's great.
With my Kamala. Do you know it's Kamala?
I know.
I always say Kamala.
Oh, it's Kamala Harris.
Well, actually, Matt and I sing in the house. Do you want to know what we sing?
Sing.
Kamala chameleon. And then we laugh our asses off, and the cats look at us like we're crazy. Kamala. Yeah. I thought it was Kamala. Like Kamala Harris, but it's Kamala. And I'm reading her book.
Oh, yes, you are.
And she tells you that in the second paragraph. It's just to clear things up. I'm Indian and Jamaican, and it's Kamala.
There you go.
Yeah, it's great. So we can't stop the government from shutting down.
No.
Again, our message is be fucking nice to each other. Be kind. Have empathy when you know somebody's not getting paid. I asked him, what is the I asked him how he felt about air traffic control employees being privatized. Because, that was a big thing. Like, why is airlines are privatized, but they're also run under, we don't have government-run airlines. It's not North Korea. Did I bring up North Korea today already? Well, it's a good one to bring up, right? We don't have government-run airlines. So why airline employees can be paid but still fall under FAA rules?
Yes.
Why can't air traffic control do that? Why? Because that way people aren't not getting a paycheck when our government can't fucking get their shit together.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
What is that? Tell me. What is 100%?
We didn't talk about this.
I know Reagan. I brought up Reagan firing air traffic control employees. And I asked him, do you ever worry about that? Yeah. Oh, I also added, I said this to trigger him. I said, Ann Coulter went on Twitter. Nobody likes her. Even people who like Donald Trump don't like her. She is a different breed of human. But I wrote Ann Coulter.
Is she human?
I don't know. You know what? I always feel bad for somebody like that. I have a little bit of sympathy for her. Ann Coulter? Because I think, well, first of all, I don't believe she believes anything she says.
Oh, I agree with you.
I will get. Last week I was talking about people with Parkinson's and throwing jokes. I don't mean I would carry somebody 100 miles.
I think a lot of it is shock jock stuff.
Yes, I agree. So sometimes I was just like, whatever. But she went on Twitter and she's the one who brought up the thing about like Ronald Reagan fired everyone. Like when it was like, just to. Yeah. And my thought was, who agrees with that? Yeah. So I asked him about that, and I asked him, are you afraid of being fired? And he's like, 100%, absolutely. So, you go to work and, you just make it happen.
Well, I mean, the situation is that there could be another shutdown
I think it was I think our current president shut it down for 3 weeks. And I guess the 3 weeks is next week. I just burped again. I've been burping every day that I'm here. I don't know what's happening. What did you feed me? And when this episode airs on the 27th,
we don't know.
The government could be shut down again. You know, today's the State of the Union, so we're going to find out what happens. There could be a national emergency. Who knows? I mean, who knows? So, but this episode's not about anti-anybody. It's just about the people who are suffering through this shit. Period. Right. And I asked him, what I asked him was, I was like, are you working? I asked him, who do you blame?
Yeah.
Because, and like I said, this isn't anti-anybody, but, you know, the Republicans are blaming the Democrats.
Obviously.
And the Democrats are blaming the Republicans. And I wanted to say I asked him, like, well, I am not affected by this really, but you are not getting paid. Who do you blame? And he really, let me ask him. Let me see. I asked him how many, keep talking.
I just think
did I not ask him this?
That's going on, the way it looks to the rest of the world, and you can attest to this too because you were out of the country in the beginning of the year when you were in Australia. The way it looks to the rest of the world, we look ridiculous to the rest. We are a giant joke to the rest of the world.
Oh yeah.
And it just makes us look weak, and I think that is the point.
Well, they're all they're laughing at us.
Well, yes, they are laughing at us. But I think when we are fighting each other, I think that's the goal. It's because we're fighting each other. There's so many things happening within our country that we're fighting each other that, quote unquote, the enemy or whatever can grab our attention. Like, don't look it over here. It's like a distraction. Right. No, of course. And that's the point of those things. That is the point of it. And to be one of, quote unquote, the greatest countries in the world, to not take care of its own people, I find it so disheartening.
Absolutely. So I asked him who he blamed. And he said, you know, personally, this is his quote. Okay. Personally, this president gambles with the livelihood. Personally, this president gambles with lives on a whim. That's what he said. So
because it doesn't affect his life, or the people around him,
or all the when
the politicians, or the 1%.
When Obama shut the government down because
of healthcare,
but he still shut it down and people didn't get paid.
Yes.
So
how long did that shutdown last?
That was 16 days. So, but the point is, government shutting down sucks no matter what.
Yes. In the name of healthcare, in the name of trying to get healthcare for the entire country, correct? Was that? It was for healthcare.
Yes.
Yes.
But it was still a shutdown.
Correct. And this shutdown is based on what again?
Money for a wall. But I'm trying to be the devil's advocate and say a shutdown is bad no matter why.
I agree.
And so you shut down the government because you're not getting the government can't agree.
Correct.
And it sucks no matter what.
Yes.
Because this isn't the days of the early 20th century when senators sat down and went to dinner and was like, I don't agree with you, you don't agree with me, but tomorrow morning we need to have a fucking answer. So let's have our cigars and our whiskey and let's bang it out, and we don't like each other, but we'll be fine.
Correct.
That doesn't happen anymore. No. Now it's eat a dick, you're not getting paid for 30 days. But you know, I'm so interested in people in their lives. So I asked him, I was like, do you work with anyone who is a member of the Republican Party,
who's a supporter of our president,
right? Who is not getting paid? Like, what is that?
What
like?
is their stance?
Yes, because that's important to me as a person. Because I'm always wondering, like, what are you thinking? And he said, "Oh yes, absolutely. There's a lot of Donald Trump supporters in air traffic control. There's a lot of straight men that work in this industry." He said, and what they say is, "I didn't think something would affect me." So. Well, you know, when you're talking about Mexicans being rapists and building a wall, and you're a white heterosexual male, you don't think you're going to be bothered until you don't get a paycheck. So I asked him, well, how does that work? And he said, well, we try to work together, which is good because, you know, I've been on the airplane with people who don't work with.
I've been on the airplane with people who have very different views from me, and I work on the airplane with people who think I have similar views to them because I love Jesus or whatever. And
is that Jesus Ramos?
Yep. How did you know?
Because that's the guy I blew when I was 19.
And There we
It's
go.
in my book, Blowjob Confessions.
I know.
Oh, okay.
So, who think that I have the same views as them.
Oh, Christ. You're talking about Jesus Christ. Yes, I understand that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to lighten it up every
I know.
once in a while. But I thought it was just fascinating because we work with people, you've worked with people. I was just in my crash pad and I came downstairs and one of the flight attendants had it on Fox News and I almost said, who's watching this shit? And I didn't. And then we started having a nice, I was like, Joe, Matt always tells me, find the common ground.
Yeah, of
Everyone
course.
has a common ground. So we started chatting a little bit and she lived in Southern California, And then I said, oh, why'd you leave California? Oh, I couldn't stand the Californian liberals. Then I was like, game on, bitch.
Yeah.
So I said, where do you live? And she told me, and I said, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And she said, why are you sorry? I said, oh, I'm sorry for anyone that lives in the South.
There you go.
Because I'm a bitch.
Yeah.
So
I do that with one. There's a firefighter who I work with who we push each other's buttons.
Work with a firefighter?
A former firefighter.
Oh, okay.
He's a flight attendant now.
Cool.
Retired. I love him. He's so sweet. But we have very different political views.
Right.
But like we kitschy joke with each other, and he's like, "Oh, you millennial, you."
Right. Right.
Liberal.
Are you a millennial?
I'm an elder millennial. I am technically an elder millennial. I am the eldest of the millennials.
What am I? I think I'm generation
I have no
almost
idea.
dead.
No.
Almost dead.
No, I don't know what you are.
I think I'm X.
Are you Gen X?
I was born in 1972.
Let us know what he is. Are you Gen X?
I don't know. I don't care.
I don't know.
I'm almost dead. So I was so
Anyway.
curious with that. So and he was like, yeah, no, we worked together but most people did. Oh, I didn't think something would affect me. And that goes back to the empathy thing. People can't have empathy. A lot of people can't have empathy for other people if they haven't felt their pain.
Correct.
But I have empathy for. Empathy is very easy to have.
Putting yourself in somebody else's shoes.
Yes.
Well, for me as an actor and growing up in the entertainment industry, movies and television and stories and stuff like that, it was always very easy for me to put myself in other people's shoes. That was part of my job forever. So that is always something. That's always the point of view I'm coming from.
Right.
I think so.
So yeah. So the basic is about. I wanted to give some information to our listeners about this, getting it from an air traffic controller's point of view.
You did not see so much of an inconvenience or a difference,
Honey, I was off from like December 20th to January 18th.
As somebody who actually was working,
Yeah, I didn't.
I did see a difference.
I watched it from the news, but I saw Joshua Tree being destroyed,
And you saw Joshua
which
Tree
was
being
I'm
destroyed.
still having PTSD.
Okay, from that. I did see in the airports, flying around, did see a difference. And my heart goes out to everybody.
Well, let's just hope that
situation.
the government does not shut down again,
Yep.
and that everybody can't we all just get along?
Just get along, please.
Well, thank you, lady. Do you have anything else?
I don't think so.
Well, and I want to thank my ATC friend. If you're
Friends.
listening, thank you so much.
We appreciate
I
it.
really, I sound like
Wee-wee.
Bugs Bunny.
Wee-wee.
Bugs Bunny.
Woo, woo, woo.
I really appreciate you
Wee-wee.
answering my questions, and thank you so much. And ladies and gentlemen, again, to be responsible adults, and we were talking about somebody who committed suicide. I want to give the number for the National Suicide Prevention
Thank you.
Lifeline. It is 1-800-273-8255. It's available 24 hours a day. If you are somebody who has troubles from the shutdown or from anything,
Just
please.
anything in general.
It's
if you suffer
1-800
with that, yeah.
1-800-273-8255. You know, my mom tried to commit suicide twice in her life, so it's something very close to me. So please, if you need help, please seek it. With that,
Check on each other. Love each other.
say something nice. Say something funny.
Me right now?
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, she hates.
Okay. Yeah.
To be put on the spot.
I like to be prepared. Yes.
Okay, well, we're done.
Anyway.
Have a great night. Thank you guys so much. And we'll see you next week
see you
on
next
Confessions
week.
on the Fly.
Bye. Thanks for watching Confessions on the Fly with LJ and Flight Attendant Joe. Click the notification bell, subscribe below, and for more videos, you can click right here. See you soon.